Hi friends, welcome to PSC Collegiate English. Today, let us look at the Poem in October, written by Dylan Thomas. Dylan Marleys Thomas. He is a Welsh poet and writer. He is noted for his original rhythmic and ingenious use of words and imagery. He is also noted for verbal density, alliteration, sprung rhythm, and internal rhyme. Some of the famous poems are Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night, and Death Shall Have No Domain. Also, The Play of Voices. Some of his other important works are 18 Poems, which won Poets Corner Book Prize, In the Country Sleep and Other Poems, Me and My Bike, Rebecca's Daughter, Death and Entrances, The Map of Love, The World I Breathe, 25 poems. He has written prose as well. The Beach at Falsey, Letters to Vernon Watkins, A Prospect of the Sea, The Doctor and the Devils, The Portrait of Artist as a Young Dog. He has written drama, a single drama that is Under Milkwood. Now, coming to the poem in October, this has 7 stanzas and each stanza is separated into 10 lines. The poem is found in the volume Death and Entrance. The poem depicts the vision of childhood versus a momentous frustrated urban life. Here, he compares and contrasts pictures of village life and town life, which shows background and backward and forward movement. Now, a critic called A.S. Collins says, I quote, a passionate love of nature likened to childhood memories produced a beauty that touches the heart and stirs the sense, unquote. Now, this is what A.S. Collins said about this particular poem. You can quote it when writing short answers or essays. Now, coming to the poem, it was my 13th, sorry, it was my 30th year to heaven, woke to my hearing from harbour and neighbourwood, and the mussel pooled and the heron priested shore, the morning beacon with water praying and call of seagull and rook, and the knock of sailing boats on the net webbed wall, myself to set foot that second in the still sleeping town and set forth. My birthday began with the water, birds, and the birds of the winged trees flying my name. Above the farms and the white horses, and I rose in rainy autumn and walked abroad in a shower of all my days. High tide and the heron dived when I took the road over the border, and the gates of the town closed as the town awoke. A springful of larks in a rolling cloud, and the roadside bushes brimming with whistling blackbirds, and the sun of October summery. On the hill's shoulder, here where fond climates and sweet singers suddenly come in the morning, where I wandered and listened to the rain ringing. Wind blow cold in the wood far away under me. Pale rain over the dwindling harbour and over the sea, wet church the size of a snail, with its horns through mist, and the castle brown as owls. But all the gardens of spring and summer were blooming in the tall tales, beyond the border and under the lark-full cloud. There could I marvel my birthday away, but the weather turned around. It turned away from the blithe country and down the other air, and the blue altered sky streamed again a wonder of summer with apples, pears, and red currants. And I saw in the turning so clearly a child's forgotten mornings when he walked with his mother through the parables of sunlight and the legend of the green chapels, and the twice told fields of infancy that his tears burned my cheeks and his heart moved in mine. These were the woods, the river and sea, where a boy in the listening summertime of the dead whispered the truth of his joy to the trees and the stones and the fish in the tide, and the mystery sang alive still in the water and singing birds. And there could I marvel my birthday away But the weather turned around, and the true joy of the long dead child sang burning in the sun. It was my 30th year to the heaven, stood there then in the summer noon, though the town below lay leaved with October blood. Oh, may my heart's truth still be sung on this high hill in a year's turning. Now let us analyze the summary of this beautiful poem. The speaker's journey, the poem describes speaker's journey in an autumn up to a hill to reclaim childhood joy, the summer season, and his spirituality. The poem begins with the speaker stating that he was 30 years old and that was his birthday when he wrote this poem. It was his birthday and he chose to go for a walk. He left his home, he traveled alongside the water's edge, he listened to the seabirds and the music of the woods. Then he started climbing the hills. At the same time, the seasons began to change. Autumn and its cool air faded away, and the summer returned. The rain continued as he climbed, as did the presence of birds. These two images are crucial for the poet's understanding of happiness and childhood. When he finally got to the top of the hill, it was like he got to the heaven. The speaker recalls visiting the place along with his mother and what it meant to him back then in childhood. He hoped, while on the hill, that the joy he experienced will last throughout the year. And he concludes by saying that he would return to reclaim the joy when he turns 31 the next year. Coming to the critical analysis of the poem, though it is a short and beautiful poem, we have to look at some minor facts. The village mentioned here is Swansea, and the hill on which he is climbing is Fernhill. The age is described in years of progress towards the heaven. He describes the shores as being priested by herons. He describes morning as praying. The waves dip and rise as if kneeling in prayer. He speaks about the gates he has to open and the borders he has to cross. Here, um, the similarity is just given to the soul, just like the soul is captured within the human body. Once human beings are dead, the soul opens the gates and borders and reaches heaven. We must also remember that October is between summer and winter. Similarly, the age of 30 is between childhood and maturity. The pause between childhood glory and the sadness of maturity, the difference between summer and winter, past and future, is maintained throughout the poem. This poem can also be analyzed from Dylan Thomas's sacramental view of nature and the theme of remembered childhood. Thank you.